What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about a former 4th round pick out of Clemson, Austin Bryant. Let's get it started. Welcome in, everybody, to another video. Glad you guys are here. Today, we're talking about Austin Bryant. Now, you guys are probably like, wow, this guy, he's excited, but he's not as loud as usual. Well, that is because there are a lot of people sleeping. So I'm basically going to give you guys a rundown right now. So for the next couple of days, I'm going to be gone. And because of that, I need to pre-record a pretty good amount of videos. Now, mainly throughout the day, throughout the entire day, usually I'm working on videos and I'm putting these videos out. So, during the day, it's not a big deal that I'm, pretty loud and stuff like that. Like, I haven't moved out yet, so, it's okay that I'm loud during the day. But at night, there are still people, because I'm not moved out yet, that I can't be loud at night. I have to keep it on the down low. So I'm not going to be super loud in these next couple of videos. And since I'm going to be gone the next couple of days, I need to pre-record some videos that I plan to do some while I'm gone. But mainly, man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a different environment. So I do want to have things planned. Obviously, if there's breaking news, I'll hit you guys with that no matter what the circumstances are. But, I mean, I've done breaking news in a dang bathroom. Think about that. I did breaking news in a bathroom. Wow. Yeah, I think that was a Snacks Harrison release. When the Lions released Snacks Harrison, go look that video up, man. I was literally in a bathroom recording that because, man, breaking news is going to happen. I'm going to have to give it to you guys wherever. I'll dang do it at a restaurant. Hey, what's up, y'all? Breaking news. Hey, hold up. I just need a water. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give y'all breaking news. Okay, we're really off topic here. But I do want to have videos spaced out for you guys. I may be up all night bunch recording these. So we'll see how this thing goes. Today, we're talking about Austin Bryant. So, yes, I will be reading through your comments and stuff like that. It's just, these videos are pre-recorded, so keep that in mind. But we're talking about Austin Bryant. Now, just like the Amani video we did, I want to talk about Austin Bryant. And I feel like when we think about players, right, we think about players that the Detroit Lions, bring in. And we get all excited about these new toys, these new players, right? The new toy. And I use new toy as like a metaphor, whatever it may be. You get a present. And you're like, oh, I'm so excited. You kind of forget about the old one. And I feel like that's what easily we do about some of the Detroit Lions players. And personally, me, I do the same thing. So I think it's important for us to make sure we don't forget about some of those older players, because if you think about it, rookies, unless you're like a top pick in the draft, a lot of times these guys don't have a huge rookie year, right? They're kind of quiet. They have a smaller role. Maybe injuries set in. Maybe it's just because they have a smaller role because, they're trying to fill into a role for the Detroit Lions. And it is their first year there and they're not super comfortable. They're still trying to find a spot for them. Maybe they're not completely polished, whatever it may be. But it's those second year, those third year players that all of a sudden break out, and you forget about those guys. But when they break out, and all of a sudden you're reminded. So I think it's important for us to talk about some of these players. So I did the Amani video, and today we're talking about Austin Bryant. Now, let me just say, I forgot about Austin Bryant. I did. I mean, I'm going back and looking at some of these people. I'm like, okay, yeah, there's Austin Bryant to do. And I start watching this guy. I'm like, what am I doing, man? I completely forgot about this from last season. I knew he didn't play in a lot of games. I was like, okay, yeah. I just kind of wrote him off like, okay, yeah, this video's going to be kind of boring to make. Dude, I'm excited about Austin Bryant. Like, I'm legitimately excited. This may be the most excited I am for any player. Like, going through the list, and obviously there's more to go through, so we'll see. But as of now, man, I'm excited to see what Austin Bryant's going to do in 2020, because I'm watching him in the little amount of time that he played last season for the Lions. The dude was pretty impressive. Now, he was not polished. He has a lot of things to work on, but the potential is off the charts. Like, I'm saying to myself, this guy literally has abilities that Matt Patricia can utilize, and this guy could be an absolute monster. Yes, I do mean it. So let's talk about Austin Bryant a little bit, man. Austin Bryant is a 6'6", 260-pound defensive end / linebacker. Basically both for Clemson as well. He's a versatile player that came into Detroit. Now, he had some injury concerns in college, right? We didn't see him a whole bunch in college, and then he was kind of behind and overshadowed by a lot of top picks. Clelin Ferrell was one of the top picks. There was a lot of players that he was overshadowed because, he plays for Clemson. There's some really talented players coming out of that, and the Lions landed this guy named Austin Bryant in the 4th round, who I think a lot of people didn't know about, but a lot of people looked at his numbers and said, this dude's going to be a steal. He had some really good numbers in college, and they're like, man, we just got a steal, right? If this guy is healthy, he's going to be great. I know if he's healthy. We have a lot of guys that we draft like that, right? If this guy's going to be healthy, he had an ankle injury his sophomore year, his final year of college. He had a torn pectoral muscle, had some injuries, and then all of a sudden he comes to Detroit, hype is there, and the dude is on IR. The dude is on IR for the Detroit Lions, and guess what? His first snaps come in Week 11. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, Week 11 is the first snaps that Amani Oruwariye saw defensively for the Detroit Lions in the regular season. It's kind of weird. I don't know. To me, that's weird. I don't know. Maybe it's not weird. But let's talk about the strengths and weaknesses that I took away from Austin Bryant. Now, keep in mind, okay, if you look up his stats, you're probably going to be like, yeah, this guy was garbage last season. But the dude played in 4 games and had 133 defensive snaps. 133 defensive snaps. it's not a lot of opportunity. It's a little bit, but it's not a lot, especially when you're kind of just put into the role, right? The dude's on IR for most of the year. He's taken off of IR. We're excited to see him back. The season at this time is basically a wash. Someone even put in the comment section that, you know, you're probably not even doing that much of your scheme at the end of the year because, you know, you're not going to give it away, especially if you know you're going to be back, which honestly is a good point. I mean, I don't know if you knew he was going to be back, but that could be something to keep an eye out for. But let's talk about him, man, because man, I'm excited to see Austin Bryant after watching him from last year. And he didn't even do that well, and that's what's crazy, right? The numbers weren't even that great. Not getting tons of sacks, right? He didn't even get a single sack. And still, I'm excited to see what he can do in 2020 because the potential is literally insane. We're going to start off with the good. The first thing is, well, obviously his pass rushing ability. He has a very good push. I like his upper body strength as a pass rusher. That's really good, right? He pushes a lot of offensive tackles back, kind of off their feet. Good offensive tackles, right? He's really powerful, really strong player for the Detroit Lions. And that's kind of something that you have to kind of look at because sometimes when you bring in, you know, these athletic defensive linemen or these guys that play both positions, they're not super powerful, and that's something that they lack. They're more speed guys. Austin Bryant does not lack strength. I mean, he might not be the strongest guy out there, right? This dude may not be Danny Shelton, but he's got some strength for his size. Like, I wasn't expecting to pack the kind of punch that he does. There you go. That's a Call of Duty Zombies reference right there. Hey, great game mode. I love that. What are we doing? See, this is what happens when you record late. You get off topic. That versatility. Now, obviously, you knew this was going to come up. You knew the versatility was going to come up with Austin Bryant, and that's because that's there. I mean, and I'm thinking about how Matt Patricia can use this guy. I'm saying to myself, this dude is 6'6", 260 pounds, and he's so athletic. I'm like, bro, Matt Patricia can have a heyday with this guy if he's healthy for an entire season. I mean, you put this guy with Jamie Collins, this could be that sleeper that has a huge role next season that maybe we're not talking about enough, but we should be. Because, yes, his numbers weren't that great, and I get it, he wasn't super polished last year, but his athletic ability is incredible. I mean, he is not afraid to drop back. He's a defensive end that will drop back into coverage. He will actually, in some situations, play as an interior linebacker, you know, bounce to the inside for the Detroit Lions, but this guy is not afraid to drop into coverage, and Lions aren't afraid to do it, right? They'll drop him out there, and a lot of times he'll check the tight ends, the running backs coming out of the backfield to kind of like throw him off the route a little bit, right? Because it's so close to the line, it's not a flag. Kind of throw him off the route a little bit, and all of a sudden, that kind of takes away that option. It really helps a lot of the other guys in the back end to, you know, make a play on those players because, you know, he kind of takes them out of the play. It takes a couple of seconds away from those guys. So instead of every time just rushing the passer, and maybe he's not the best pass rusher, he will kind of take those guys out of the play with a nice little chuck before it happens. And he's not afraid to play the spy. He's super athletic. He's really athletic. Like, that's probably the one word I'm overusing a lot is because he is. If you go watch him, man, it is off the charts. And I'm saying to myself, dude, this guy has so much potential. It's crazy. Matt Patricia can make this guy a beast. I mean, I know he can. He made Kyle Van Noy a beast. All right, he can make Austin Bryant a beast. I see that. I see that he definitely can if, you know, he gets some really good pieces around him, which I think the Lions are starting to put around him. I think this is the guy that we definitely need to keep in mind, all right? They're not afraid to drop him. He'll drop in the flats. This dude can literally cover. He can play tons of different positions for the Detroit Lions. Doesn't do it a ton. Usually stays on the defensive end position, the defensive line. Usually doesn't, you know, go from that too much. But, you know, he can play in tons of different stances wherever you really need him. I mean, he has that versatility. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, that's all great, but why didn't he have good numbers? Like, I get it, he played in 133 snaps. He didn't put up a single sack. What's going on there? Well, I think there's a lot of things that go into sack, a lot of variables, so you got to keep that in mind. It's always hard to gauge what is a consistent, what's an inconsistent pass rusher, so I look for a few things, but not necessarily like a sacks. Like, if you look on the film, can you tell if this guy is a consistent pass rusher? And I would say he's not. He's not a consistent pass rusher, right? At least at this moment. And again, he played in 133 snaps, so we got to give him some time. But at this point, he didn't look like a consistent pass rusher. Very inconsistent at times. I would say a lot of times, man, he wasn't using a lot of moves. He wasn't able to set things up. Just very inconsistent. I also say, you know, some of the people they got there's a lot of variables. So you can't consistently just look at sacks. You got to look at the player on the field. Because for me, like, I look at Marcus Golden, and if I look at Everson Griffin, and if you told me, okay, well, hold up, Marcus Golden's got more sacks, he's a better pass rusher. Heck no. I'm taking Everson Griffin every day. The technique is way better, right? This guy is way more technically sound than a guy like Marcus Golden. It's not even close in my opinion. And I'm looking at Austin Bryant, I'm saying, yes, you know, he's not the most polished, he's not super consistent, but he flashes. He flashes off the screen, and that's what I need to see. If you never flash, now I'm concerned, but he does flash. He flashes with some swim moves, some spin moves. All of a sudden, he'll make a quick move, and he's by that tackle, and it's like, oh, snap, that was quick. And you see it here and there. You don't see it enough. You don't see it consistently, but it's there. You know it's there. You know that he can do it. You've seen that he can do it, and now we just need to make that more consistent because this guy literally has the potential to be really, really good in this Detroit Lions defense. And I know, like, back, you know, when the year ended, we're talking about, well, this guy could be the breakout guy for 2020, and all of a sudden that train kind of died off because the offseason is very long, and you kind of forget about him. But man, I'm telling you right now, do not forget about this player. I mean, this was the first edge rusher the Lions drafted in 3 years up until this season we took Julian Okwara. I mean, we didn't take edge rushers. We took this guy. And his mix between athletic ability and size, what? I mean, hey, the future is bright for Austin Bryant. Now, he needs to stay healthy. That's a very big concern, right? Because we already saw him on IR. He needs to stay healthy and he needs to be more consistent. Okay, those are two big things. But I don't think he's going to be used as just a pure pass rusher, right? He's going to do different things. Obviously, as we know in the Detroit Lions defense, everybody's got to be able to play different positions. And that's what he can do. I mean, it's pretty incredible with the potential. Now we just need to see him put together because a lot of players have potential. The question is, can they put it together on the field? That's how I'm hoping to see for 2020. So let me know your thoughts on Austin Bryant, man. I'm excited to see what this guy can do. I'm very excited. Thank you, Prop, for watching, and I'm out.